Player 2 has joined the game.
Hey, yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 375 of the Two Player Co-op Podcast. As always, I'm one of your hosts here, Kevin, along with my brother from my mother, Sean.
How we doing?
Fantastic. If this is the first time you're ever seeing, hearing, or listening to us, this is the Two Player Co-op Podcast, where just about every week, two brothers get together to tell you everything you need to know about in the world of video games. If you like that, make sure you like the video, subscribe, share it with your friends, family, and everyone in betwixt. If you only listen on audio services, that's cool too. Just give us a thumbs up, 5-star review, or whatever your service allows. All the news is bad. I'm going to try to finish Doom 2 while y'all are
No
recording.
News is good news.
Great
Except we
CD.
have news. So, is that bad news?
Yeah, that didn't help. I feel like that was my voice if I were to ever be an IVR like voice. That would have been that voice.
What's an IVR?
Now
Intravenous
voice recognition. When you call in, it's like, thank you for calling Walgreens. Press 8 for the pharmacy.
Oh.
IVR. What does it stand for now? You look it up. If you really like us, is that what I'm supposed to say? Where are we at? If you really like
What
us,
does IVR stand for?
you can go to patreon.com/2playercoop. Where
IDR can stand for
Nope.
different things.
ID.
depending on the context.
IVR.
IVR stands for Interactive Voice Response.
Okay. I never knew that. I just knew it is what it is. The thing.
Do you ever talk to ChatGPT or you always type?
Was that ChatGPT or was that Apple AI?
It was ChatGPT.
She talks back? She could talk.
Yeah, but
She's sassy. Yeah, she does. Why I oughta. We got a lot of different benefits for you people over at patreon.com/2playercoop, where the most popular tier benefit is the $5 tier, where you get to watch us record the podcast live on YouTube as we are doing right now. Also, if you miss us, you get the podcast live one day early. You get a bonus episode every month. We just released ours a week ago to last week. No, last week was the game of the year, so 2 weeks ago. What we're looking forward to the most this year. What did you say?
I burped. I was asking about ChatGPT because I was curious.
No, I wasn't asking about
No, I know,
that.
but I was
Okay.
still thinking about that. Because sometimes I'm honest to God, like,
Am I talking to a person?
no, but like, I feel bad or I feel like scared if I get sassy with her.
Does she
Like-
realize it?
I don't think so.
Miss GPT?
But like, I do kind of feel bad. I'm like, I know it's not a real person, but like sometimes I feel
That's
bad.
super effed up.
I know.
I do,
But
I
I'm
do, I do,
also like worried. Like, what if they rise up and they know who has been
Who was
mean
the
to
sassy
AI
pants? Yeah.
and who wasn't? So I try to be polite.
I'm always nice. Some of our patrons deserve a shout out. Just like the man with the bar named after him, our patron saint, the winner of last year's Fantasy Metacritic contest, Mr. John Tingley. Also, our affiliates, Derek Bamford, James Solar. Make sure you check out James Games and more on YouTube. Also, Mom.
Who won the year before? Was it Dustin?
Probably.
I think it was. Yeah.
Also, our producers, Steve Appleton, Aunt Sue, and Dustin Downs.
One thing I thought we used
if
to
you like
mention
cool
it-
t-shirts and the
Wait.
like, teespring.com
Okay,
/ store / two player co-op.
I thought we used to mention it, but maybe not. Or if we did, we don't anymore.
Short.
What part of short don't you understand? We don't pimp the Discord anymore.
I think it's down at the bottom, but I never
is
read
it?
the stuff.
Hey,
down at
come
the
join
bottom.
our Discord.
We got a Discord over there. It's in the description.
Is it though?
I don't know.
No.
It's in the YouTube description, but
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know. Join the Discord. Come hang out with the folks.
Folks.
What? What did you say?
The folks. But have you seen this thing online? That's I think it's legit, but you never know. What's that thing called? Slack.
Yeah.
That like some companies use. Somebody like posted. I don't know how it works, but like posted like a thing for like everybody to see, not just like a message to a person. And it was like, guys, I'm stuck in the elevator, help. And it got like an auto response from like a Slack bot or something saying, guys is a gendered term. We
Are you
we
kidding
prefer
me?
to use
Hey, y'all.
ungendered things like blah 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 or folks, and then he's like, "Folks, I'm stuck in the elevator."
Jesus. Okay, AI can kiss my ass if that's what it's doing. Come on, give me a break. I got a lot of things to talk about. One thing first. Do you like my picture in the rundown, by the way?
I do.
Beeps in the night.
I have something to add to this, but go ahead.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, because for the last 2 nights, I'm on no sleep. No sleep. So, what is today? Tuesday. Sunday night.
Tuesday. If
But
you're
to me,
British.
it was Tuesday. That was not Raul Julia at all. But anyways,
It
it
was
was Tuesday. Mon ami. Who used to say mon ami?
Gambit.
Oh, yeah, thank you. I want to watch. You've either seen it or you haven't. I want to watch that movie again so bad. And not Gambit. I still can't believe that opening. I will never forget the opening to that movie.
Bring it back.
What was I talking about?
I don't even know.
Peeps in the night. Okay. Again, I said I'm on no sleep 2 nights ago. So Sunday night, go to bed, fall asleep. 2 o'clock in the morning. Oh, it's when Kira was spending the night. All of a sudden, we woken up at 2 in the morning with the most ear-piercing, loudest beep, 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 beep.
Oh, I heard Jess talking about. I came in at the very tail end of it, but when I was picking the girls up, she was talking about something. But
So Jess was like, "Oh my God, wake up!" And I was like, "Okay." She's like, "Make sure that go turn the alarm off," because I think we were both like, "Dog, Kira ran away" or something, you know. So I run out there and I get to the alarm panel. I'm just there in my boxers, like, "Huh, it's green. That's not going off," and it's still just whir, whir, whir. So I'm like, "What the hell is that loud?" Okay. And it's just still going. And it's going, John Tingley. And it's still beeping and beep. And when I say beep, it's not even a beep. So I'm like, I don't know anything in my house that's this loud. And then I go and I'm like, oh, it's the smoke detector. It's the Nest. So I go up there. I can barely reach it. And I twist it off. And I'm like, huh. And then Jess comes out and I'm just staring at it like this. And she's like, what are you doing? I was like, I don't know what's making the noise. I'm just staring at it. I don't know where the noise is.
while it's still beeping at you,
It wasn't beeping.
Oh.
That's why I think I was like. Meanwhile, of course, the beeping is coming right next to the girl. The girl slept through the whole thing. So just know if there's ever a fire, you have to wake your kids up. So it wasn't the smoke detector. And then I looked down, and in that hallway where it sounds like the noise is coming from, which is also where the noise comes from for, in the little closet there, that's where a siren thing is for the alarm system.
oh okay.
But then I look down and I'm like, oh yeah, the CO2 detector is there. Uh-oh. Wait a minute.
You mean CO?
CO. I know. I was like, carbon dioxide's fine. Monoxide, not good. I was like, duh! Oh no! No, that wasn't it.
Duh! Oh no!
No. I grabbed the Nest. It had stopped. And Jess was like, well, just go take, because at that point we still thought it was the Nest smoke detector. So I go out there, 20 degrees in my boxers. She's like, take it out of the pool house. I'm like, Dewey. Okay. So I take it out there, come back, put the dogs in their beds, go back to sleep. 10 minutes later, I'm like, oh God. So I get
Is
up.
there a dog barking?
No, that was so the noise is happening and I'm like, what the hell? This is the point when I'm like, oh, it's got to be the stupid carbon monoxide thing. And I look at it, I'm like, okay, it's green, but it's beeping really loud. And I push the test reset button. Doesn't do anything. I'm like, click and hold. Nothing. Okay. So I'm going to unplug it. Beeping's still going. At the time, I don't realize it. The beeping's not coming from this thing. But when I take it out, the beeping stops. So then, like, okay. Oh, I unplugged it, but wait, it's got batteries. Open it up, take the batteries out. Okay. Go back to sleep. Wake up the next morning, everything's fine. No more beeps, no nothing. Okay. But after I did this, I think I'm still hearing another beep. I'm like, this is weird, but I think my ears are just ringing. Go back to sleep. Last night, same thing happens. 2:30 in the morning, the beeping starts again. I'm like, what the fuck happened? So I get up, I check it. I'm thinking it's the carbon monoxide thing again. Unplug it, beeping stops, and then I just sit there. Oh, I had also taken the Nest down again. Jess comes out. She's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, I'm just seeing if it's going to happen again. She goes back to bed. Starts happening again. I'm like, oh. I go upstairs. I'm like, maybe it's upstairs. Jess comes out. She's like, "Cav, come here. It's here." It was the actual smoke detector. So we've still got the old school smoke detector right next to the Nest, because I think because the old school smoke detector is tied into our alarm system. So if the house burns down, they'll come here and maybe put it out.
I'm so confused that you had something that was such an ear-piercing beep that was going off like it was your alarm system, and you couldn't figure out where it was coming from.
Have you not had this happen before, though, when there's something so loud in your house? Also, remember, it's the middle of the night. I'm sound asleep. Now I'm awake, kind of. You can't, like, when something is that loud, it's like, when it's not what I thought it was, when it's not the alarm system, I'm like, maybe I'm sleeping? Like, I don't know. Jess realizes it's the old school smoke detector there. So I reach up there, can't reach it because the ceiling's downstairs. I know, I'm short guy. Can't reach it. I'm like, fuck. So I go into the kitchen, I grab a chair, again, walking around in my boxers, grab a chair, bring it into
This is
the
what,
little...
like 2 a.m. again?
Yeah, bring it in the little hallway, get up there, take it off.
The little hallway, you're talking like right outside Eliza's room?
Yeah.
And she's sleeping through this whole thing?
Yeah, again. Take it down, pull the thing out, and I'm looking at it, I'm like, okay. Then it starts beeping again. After I've unplugged it, I was like, I quit.
It's a demon.
But then I'm like, oh yeah, there's a battery. Open it up, take the 9-volt battery out. It's over. It's over. Jess goes back to sleep, and I'm out there. I'm just like staring at it like, I swear to God, you motherfucker, if you start making noise again. Then I hear coming from upstairs, beep, 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 beep. And then it stops, and I was like, I told myself, and I think I might have even said it out loud, I was like, I think my ears are just ringing. I'm going back to bed. Long story long, it was just the smoke detector. And what now, when I
Did
was
you
awake
actually
in the
hear
morning,
something?
yes, it was the other one, but it wasn't going off like the one downstairs was. It was just like
beeping you to warn you.
It was more just like a warning, like, hey, I'm a little bit low on battery.
Okay.
Swapped out the batteries today. And Jess got me a battery tester for Christmas, and it like works. And I plugged in the 9-volt because I knew the one downstairs was obviously dead. I put in the new battery, plugged it in, tested it. It's good. Okay.
So it wasn't like a like a smoke detector, but more than just a beep every minute, like they usually do to warn you of a low battery.
No, this was like, your house is burning down, get out.
But it's because of a low battery?
Yeah.
Weird.
Well, I mean, there was no smoke.
Yeah.
So, but then I go get new 9-volt batteries, take this one down so that otherwise, because I'm like, I can't have this happen 3 nights in a row or I'm going to die. Take it down, test the battery, and it was like right on the verge between okay and good. And I was like, yep, fuck that battery. Gone. If it goes off again tonight, we're burning the house down and taking the insurance.
So that happened to me. This isn't even the story I was going to tell, but that happened to me 2-3 years ago. Probably like 2 years ago. But it was like going off. It wasn't a low battery beat. It was like going off.
But that's what this was
in the middle of the night. Well, yeah, and I'm like, okay, there's no. So I think ours are combination smoke detector and carbon monoxide. Yeah. And I'm like, well, there's definitely no smoke. I don't think there's carbon monoxide, but I don't know.
It's called the silent killer for a reason. You wouldn't know.
But anyways, I looked it up online. It said sometimes like dust can like set it off and stuff. So we like unplug it. We're like, pretty sure everything's fine. Whatever. Go to sleep.
Never wake up again.
No, nobody died. And like we plugged it back in the next day and it was fine. And then that same night it happened again. And I'm like, what is happening? And now I'm just like on edge because I'm like, is something actually causing this to go off? Is it just dust? Is it just malfunctioning? Are we going to die? And then even when it stopped. I don't remember what we ended up doing, but eventually, I think maybe we replaced the batteries and just said, maybe that's it. I don't know. But eventually it just stopped. But for at least a night, maybe 2 nights, I was just on edge, just like, I cannot handle this thing going off again. Not from the no sleep part of it, although that's annoying too, but just from a like stress,
anxiety,
like I don't know what is going on, and I feel like it's like the worst feeling. What I was going to say, not almost every night, nowhere near every night, but once a week maybe. We've got so in Maddie's room, she's got I don't know why, we do not need it anymore. We've got a noise monitor in Maddie's room. And also in Maddie's room, we've got her white noise machine, which through the noise monitor basically is our white noise monitor. I think that's the only reason we still have it is because
It's your white noise monitor.
Right.
Is what you just said.
Well, you know what I mean.
What?
But somehow, and I've like one night, like before we were going to sleep, I was like, Brittany, listen, because I swear I sometimes hear a beep in the white noise, and it's like, and it's fairly regular. It's not like every 5 seconds on the dot, but it's about once every 5 to 10 seconds, and it's quiet, but it's almost like a hearing test.
That's what
like,
I felt like. Yeah.
Ooh, beep, beep.
Yeah.
Wait, was that one? Is that just my ear? Was that one?
It's
about
tests.
that volume and that pitch. But I know it's coming from the noise monitor. And I think it's just an artifact of the... Like, I'm sure there's not actually a beep there because I'd like point and be like... Every time I heard it, and she's like...
Your brain
hear
is
anything.
just... Yeah.
And when it happens, it's like, I'm done. I can't sleep. Because that's... Once I hear it once, it's all I can hear. And I cannot go back to sleep. And it's the worst thing. And one morning, she got up, like a Saturday, Sunday, whatever. She got up with the girls. I slept in a little bit. But she left her noise machine on just so she didn't turn it off. And all of a sudden, I wake up because I'm like, where'd my noise go? Whatever. And I listened and I listened and I listened and I couldn't hear anything. I'm like, why isn't it doing now? But it does do it at nighttime. And the only thing I could think of is Brittany said, maybe it's her phone, which is right next to the speaker part of the monitor, and interference or something, and that's somehow causing what I'm hearing. No. But she swears she couldn't hear it. I all of a sudden couldn't hear it in the morning anymore. And I'm like, I don't know what the difference would be, except once she mentioned it, yeah, her phone isn't sitting right next to it. But it's like the most annoying thing in the world. Because like, and then sometimes as I'm trying to go to sleep, I'll start wondering like, oh, am I going to hear it? And then I'm like, stop. I don't want to think about it because then I will hear it and then it's all over and it's the worst feeling in the world.
Similar to that, but not really. What are we at now?
Podcast
about 15 minutes on this topic so far. It was driving me nuts one time last summer. And I think I ended up taking a video of it and sending it to the whole family because there was a bird that only I could hear in the backyard. Every time it was like one of those. Remember when Dad was walking around gymnastics just playing the dog thing and he's like, I don't hear anything. And we're like, oh, yeah. But this bird was going like, I'm not going to try to whistle, but it was going to the cadence of let's go Yankees. And it was up, down, up, down. And she was like, I was like, there it is. Yeah. And she was like, I don't hear it. I'm like, okay. Just stop. She's like, I don't hear anything. I was like, oh my God, what is happening? I finally ended up taking a video of it just so it would record it. And then I played it for her and she was like, oh. I was like, you didn't hear that, but now you can. What is with our, like, it's all ones and zeros. So,
speaking of beeps, no, I'm just kidding.
I watched something called
did I.
Castlevania Nocturne Season 2.
I watched something called
However,
Castlevania Nocturne Season 1.
I just want to point out, I don't know how many times I had to tell this guy to watch this season.
10 or 12.
At least. Have you seen The Penguin? He wouldn't do it. He watched the first one or two. Only the first one episode.
The first one episode.
Only the first episode. And he's like, eh. And I was like, I get it. okay, fine.
Okay.
Like, it's not Trevor and stuff. I get that, but you got to give it a chance. He watched the whole thing last week, and
To be fair, finale is a 10 out of 10. Loved it. Like, far and away the best episode. Even before.
yeah.
But episodes 1 through 7 are no better. I think the best one is probably like a 7.
See, I
like
thought it was the first couple that were good, and then it got slow, and he's just sitting by the water forever, it seems like, right?
I just
Before
feel like
he
we're like,
learns the...
to me, Castlevania is about the Belmonts. And it's like, hey, this one's about, you know how that was Trevor? Well, this one's Richter.
This is about...
And it's like, well, here's an episode about her. Here's an episode about her. Here's an episode about her. I'm like, can you just give me Richter? I want to watch Richter. I want to like Richter, whatever. And it was very slow until episode 5. I mean, even 6 and 7 were kind of...
I forget, did you get tricked like I did when he showed up? Who
in
you
5?
thought? Yeah.
I thought it was Julius.
Oh, that's right. I thought it
Yeah.
was Saint Germain, and I was like, he spoiler alert. He got out of the infinite cord. No, he wasn't. He died. I was like, maybe he got in there before he died, and then he like he healed himself or something, and now he's here 200 years later. No,
Right.
It was somebody else, which we won't say.
But yeah, it was fine. It still never hooked me. It was like, I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep... At one point, it became...
Thank God for your Peloton.
Sunken cost fallacy,
Fallacy.
whatever. I was just like, I'm this
You're
far...
pot committed.
Yeah. I had to get to chapter 3 of Death Stranding.
That's a lot longer than watching season 1 of Castlevania.
But yeah, the finale was like, go. And it was just awesome action. Richter was finally cool.
Do you see what I meant about Maria and her mom, and how I thought that whole storyline throughout the season was really cool,
Oh, yeah.
and the emotion and everything? That's like, oh man. And then you find out about the priest or whatever he is, the Baron, the Baptist, the whatever he is, that guy.
But yeah, 10 was awesome.
8
I mean, 8 was
Was it 10?
awesome.
Yeah.
Just in general. And then I kind of thought we were done. And then something happens, and I'm like, oh, yes, that's blah. And then I started thinking,
is there something that
wait a
lets you
minute.
know something's happening right before it happens? That's what I don't. I do want to go back
I think
and
there's
watch
like a
season 1.
sound of like a, yeah, and
Yeah.
then it's like slow motion,
Oh, and then
you
it's
see
like
everybody
everybody's
like
dead, and then it's like,
everybody's like staring up at her, and then you just see they show her face, and she's like, and then you see the blade, and
but then when you see like the character like frozen in the air, like the hero shot, like remember in Justice League when they're all flying with the Batmobile and it like does like the hero
Yes.
shot stop. I'm like, that's it. Except actually, it was cool in Castlevania.
yeah. But yeah, really cool. I need a break for a little bit, but
Yeah.
I'll watch season 2.
You will season 2. Like I said, there's no slow parts, and I really almost think I want to do a ranking on the channel. That was one of the things I want to do more of. Like I want to do like every 2 months. I think we should do a top 10 list or a ranking. Like we only did one with the NES, and that was a lot of fun to edit. It was fun to write. It was fun to record.
Oh, like top 10.
Yeah.
Not a tiers.
Yeah. I think I want to do a ranking video of all the seasons, because I really do think this is number 3. So out of all 6 seasons, I would go.
3, 2,
Huh?
3, 2, 2, 4, 1, 1.
What?
Season 3, season 2, new season 2, season 4, season 1, season 1. Is that your order?
Season 3?
Oh no, 2.
Yeah.
2, 3.
2?
2, 3, 2, 4, 1, 1.
No. 2, 4, 2, 3.
Oh, 3 wasn't
1,
good?
1. 3 was like. 3 was very similar, from what I remember, was very similar to what you felt about season 1.
I think I get confused on what was what.
Because you remember how season 2 ends like that could have been the end of the series. It was so
Right.
awesome, so well done. The whole season 3 is Carmilla, and she's building up, and there's Isaac's going this way.
Oh, yeah,
Hector
yeah.
goes that way, and he's wandering through the desert because Dracula saved
Yeah.
him, and all this. Like, it's so, and it ends on an awesome note with the fights and stuff. But then when you get to season 4, and then there's Varney and who Varney turns out to be, and I was like, because how are they going to end this? Like, Dracula's gone, and then it's like, holy shit. Like that, the final fight in that was probably better than the final fight with Dracula.
Yeah.
But I think overall season 2 is better. So I'd go 2, 4, 2, 3, 1, 1.
So what I will say off of the microphone. I was like, okay, that's cool. Like they don't even know.
Oh, I had forgotten that.
Yeah. It's like such a weird, like, obviously they know, but they don't know because why would they? But it's also kind of weird that he didn't know, like with all of his lineage and stories that have probably been passed down.
Well, because it was all about.
It's weird that he didn't know, but the rest of them is like.
But it's more. But their purpose is to fight vampires. Vampires are a thing.
Yeah.
Like he's killing vampires. He's doing whatever. Yeah. Season 2, bringing it back. We should just call this "Bringing It Back." Season 2 was phenomenal. It is so good. There's. It's like they trick you into thinking that episode 7 is going to go the way episode 7 did in the first series of season 2, and then there's no big holy shit moment like there was at the end of season 1.
Yeah.
I will say that.
It's just good.
It's just good nonstop. Now I still like Trevor and Sypha and Alucard better than Richter and Annette.
Yeah.
And the other character. But there's some really cool stuff in this with Annette. There's Richter is he's a badass in season 2.
In the finale of 1, I think it's the finale. Yeah, there's one part when he's fighting somebody, and there's no whip, and he's just like, bah, 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 and he's just like hand-to-hand combat. I'm like, okay, that was awesome.
I had forgotten about he does that once, I think, in this season, and I was like, and he's like got blue fire hands.
Yeah.
Pop, 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 pop.
So no spoilers.
Yeah.
Is there going to be a season 3? You think?
Oh, there is something really cool, and I'm not even going to tell you what it's. There's a character that is, I guess you would call it a character. There's something going on in the background. Multiple, actually, it probably only shows up like 3 times or something, and Olrock sees it the first time, and he's like, "Haha, nice try, you," and he says a name, and I'm like, "Huh? Okay." You don't really think anything of it. It's like, that's weird. And then it happens again. I can't remember if it's Olrox that sees him again. And then it happens again late in the season. And it's just like, what the hell is going on? And there's so much speculation. Like, it was the first thing I did before I looked at, like, wanted to hear about reviews and stuff of the season. I looked up what people... There's a character in this thing that they call him, or they call it him, her, she. I don't know what it is. Multiple different names. And there's like all this like history with one of these names, and there's all these theories. Nobody knows what the hell's going on. As far as I know, it hasn't officially been picked up for season 3 yet, but the way that ends, and like Castlevania, like I think they said if you count all 6 seasons, I think they said it's the longest running animated show that Netflix has ever done. So I can't imagine. And again, yeah. I don't know how they track this stuff, but it must have been watched a lot, I would hope. And I got to think it's going to get a season 3. Because if it doesn't, they're going to need the director, the writer. Everybody's going to have to come out and say, this is what that was, and this is what we were going to do with it.
I did finally watch the trailer for season 2. And I'm like, oh, I see why you said don't watch it.
Like, the thumbnail.
Yeah.
In the final trailer, the thumbnail is like, you would have been like,
huh.
Oh, that's why you wanted me to watch the first season. Okay. It's so good. Yeah. Give it a break, but you're going to want... I wanted to go back and start watching it again immediately, which is exactly how I felt after season 2 Not really season 3, but definitely season 4. Season 2 and season 4, I immediately was like, that was the coolest thing I've ever seen. Whoop! Let's start it over because it was that freaking good.
Yeah.
I haven't done that yet just because I've been too freaking busy. But it's phenomenal. It's again, it's not as good as Castlevania season 2 or Castlevania season 4, but it is easily my number 3, I would say.
Yeah. I will definitely check it out.
Speaking of number 3, I took Casey, my 10-year-old, to go see Sonic 3. I think I like it better than Sonic 2.
Really?
Yeah. It, like... Shadow's awesome. Now, but by the time Shadow got introduced...
I don't know the first thing about Shadow.
I thought you were going to say something else. I don't know the...
No, I don't know the first thing about Shadow. I assume Sonic 3 basically goes the way Sonic 2 did. But again, I don't know anything about Shadow. But like, it's like, here's Knuckles, he's the bad guy. Oh, and then he's our friend, and we fight the actual bad guy. I assume that's what happens in 3 with Shadow. I have no idea. Maybe Shadow is a 100% bad guy. I literally have no idea. But I kind of pictured 3 just kind of following the script.
I'm not going to say anything about that because I do want you to watch it. But the first time he talks, and he's Keanu Reeves, I'm like, this is...
I know Kung Fu.
But I was like, it works with the way Shadow is in this movie. It works. And again, like I didn't play any of the games that had.
Well,
Shadow.
I remember when they announced Idris as Knuckles. I'm like, what? And I'm like, oh no, that's
oh
perfect.
my god, Knuckles, probably because he's a good guy for all this movie. Spoiler alert for Sonic 2, because he's a good guy for all this movie. I would almost say Knuckles pretty much he steals the show.
Yeah.
Like every time he talks, it's amazing. There's just, all I will say before you see it is just, there's a part about in emergency break glass. In case of emergency break glass, a bit that goes on for like 10 minutes and then it pays off and it's amazing. There's still the people stuff in this and everything, but most of the people stuff is Robotnik and old Robotnik.
What's his name? Is Cyclops? Is he even in it? I assume so. Jason, that's not his name.
Oh yeah. James Marsden.
James Marsden. I'm like, I don't even remember seeing him in the trailers, but I assume he's still there.
He's in there, and his wife is in there and stuff, and they play a little part. Actually, you know what? This might have had the least people stuff out of all of them.
Yeah.
But it's so good. Jim Carrey, this, as much as I like, and I say as much as I like these movies, they're perfect for what they are.
Right.
It would not work. Without
Jim Carrey.
There is no one else on this planet that could play Robotnik. And I'm so glad that he's at the point in his career when he doesn't have to be like whatever, the man from the moon, whatever his name is, Andy Kaufman, and like trying to do serious roles and all this stuff. And he can just be like, I'm going to go full Jim Carrey. It's awesome. He's so good in it. It's a phenomenal movie. And I don't mean that like it's a 10 out of 10, like a great movie, but for being a Sonic movie,
it does what it's trying to do perfectly. Yeah.
And there's a post credits.
That's the one thing I looked up. I'm like, I don't want to know what happens in the movie because I will see it. But I looked up the post credits. I'm like, yeah, okay, that makes sense.
You looked up both?
I don't know. Maybe I don't remember.
Just off air. Stupid ass. Yes.
I can't think of it.
Yes. Can I tell you? That's right. Dumbass. We're all whispering. Anybody could guess who it was. But did you see?
But does that person talk? That person. Does that character talk?
I don't think so.
Okay.
So they probably haven't, cast a voice actor yet. But did you see what that character does? Well,
I just read about it. I didn't watch any of it. I read the Wikipedia. I scroll to the post credits. I'm like, okay, what happens? Okay.
But it doesn't say what that character does or who it
probably
fights.
did, but I don't remember.
Okay, cool. Because it's actually two things are introduced: that character and somebody else.
Oh, okay. I can't think that it's anybody that's left. But
It's
okay.
not Big the cat or whatever that Blinks the cat or whatever that big old fat thing is. It's not that. But it's really cool. Sets up perfectly for 4. And they did announce just today Sonic 4 is coming out March 2027.
That's got to be almost unheard of to get a 4-part animated movie. I mean, oh, okay, like Kung Fu Panda, I guess, is one. But, like, there's not many
But it's
animated
not animated.
movies. Well, I mean, that's true.
I mean, it is. You
It
know
is,
what I
but
mean.
it, yeah. But, yeah, that's good. They must be doing pretty well.
And I know before that announcement, I did see last week that Robotnik, Jim Carrey said he's open to coming back. Oh yeah, spoiler alert. Well, no, they show him in the trailers. Like obviously, we thought
You're
he
not
died
gonna have
at
a
the end of
Sonic
2.
movie.
You can't have a Sonic movie without Robotnik, and you can't do Robotnik without Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
It was really good. I really liked it. One more thing before we get into the rest of the stuff. Just a funny, hilarious update. Did you see this? Because Derek sent
Yes.
it in the Discord. Okay, so Rocksteady. They already announced Suicide Squad was going offline. Or that they weren't going to be supporting it anymore. They were going to add an offline mode. So this last update was going to be the last update. Oh.
Makes sense.
It was going to be the last update, I guess I should have said. What that also means is that I didn't realize that throughout these updates there'd been more story stuff going on. But we finally figure out the actual end of Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. If you don't want to know, for some reason, skip ahead 30 seconds. But it's the most hilarious thing ever. I'll give you 3 more seconds. 3, 2, 1. Batman and Superman show up, the real ones, and they kill Brainiac, and then they're like, "Ho, hardy har! Those were a bunch of clones. We're all alive." And guess what? Batman didn't die at the end of Arkham Knight. I'm like, you friggin' jackasses. Like, okay, spoiler done. But, like, it's so stupid. The idea of this game was stupid. The execution of this game was stupid. And then everything this game was supposed to be from a storytelling perspective, it wasn't. No one has any guts. Like, it was a dumb idea to begin with, but if you're going to do it, do it.
Yeah.
Don't just do this.
Yeah.
It's so stupid, and no one should have been surprised. That's all I've got, and I have not played anything this week. Sean, have you been playing anything? Oh, but Ender Bloom, Magnolia, and Mist? Nope. I was so confident.
Ender Bloom, Magnolia Mist.
Ender Magnolia, Bloom in the Mist, or Blooms in the Mist, or whatever the hell it's called. I drafted it.
He's on the board.
I'm on the board with a 90, baby. Now, there's only 8 reviews, so that could change greatly. But
Bigly.
I'm starting off this season much better than I did last season. Well, no, once I finally got a score last year, every score I had was like 90. I just only had 4 games. And Sean was like, "Oh, did you know?" That was the theory people had from the start of the game. That's what I figured. But it's just, the thing that annoys me the most is the Arkham Knight piece of it. Like, I always had my thoughts on what that ending actually meant. Also, it was so stupid that Arkham Knight, to get the real ending of like 3 endings, you had to do all the stupid Joker, Riddler challenges and all that crap. Like, I was like, F that, YouTube. Oh, okay. I don't believe you, but okay. What were we saying?
No.
Ender, Bloom, Magnolia, and Mist. Damn it, I did it again. Ender, Magnolia, Bloom in the Mist, 90 on Metacritic. I haven't played the first one.
It's really good.
But I'm guessing there's no way I'm going to need to play the first one, right? Do you remember anything about the story, or just that it played
Like from
great?
a story perspective?
Yeah.
Like to appreciate the second one? No. But you might want to. If this one is as good as it seems to be, you may want to.
That's the only thing I worry about. Is it going to be hard to go
I will
backwards?
say, I doubt it.
Okay.
It's a very good game.
Okay.
Now, I think almost every Metroidvania is at least like an 8 out of 10. Like, it's hard to screw that up. It's no Hollow Knight. It's no Symphony. It's no Bloodstained.
Okay.
But it's like that next tier down. It's like the best of that. I don't know if I'd say it's the best, but it's one of the best of that next tier. Yeah, it's really well done. It's really, really good. The original, I'm talking. I assume the second one is
And
just as
apparently
good,
this
maybe
one's
better. So yeah, I think you should go play the original after.
I'm
Assuming you like this.
I think I'll play the original after. I think I want it just because, like I said, I haven't been playing anything. There's nothing I want to play. I forgot. I knew I drafted this, but I forgot it came out this early. I don't know what I don't know where I was going with that. I want to play it. I'm going to play it. Oh, that's what I was going to say. I was thinking about. I've had, like, ever since PS5 did the update where you could create folders and stuff. I created a folder and says platinums, and it's like
Games that you need to go platinum.
yes, that aren't like. They're not cheap because obviously if I get a cheap platinum,
Right.
I'm going to buy it and do it. But it's like What Remains
Stanley
of
Parable.
Edith Finch. No, but I need to add that to it.
There's something recently that
I need to finish Tales from the Borderlands because I got through the first 2 episodes or whatever. So I got to do 3, 4, and 5.
there's a
All you gotta do
somewhat
is play
recent
through it to get the
platinum that I got.
Stanley.
No, older than that, but I can't remember. There's something that you played recently, but you didn't get the platinum.
Oh yeah. The Contra.
that's
Iron
what it
Maiden.
is. Yeah.
Like I want to get. I only got 6 platinums last year, and while I'm no longer as obsessed with it as I used to be, Sean has taken that title from me. I do want to get way more than 6. Like I think I'm at 106. I would like to get to 125 this year. The problem is, and the reason I thought about starting out with platinum games 2 platinum, is this year's going to be bonkers, and I feel like once it starts, it's not going to stop. You know.
Right.
So I don't know, but I haven't played anything. I'm gonna play Ender. Did you get that platinum?
On the first
The
one,
first
yeah.
one?
I don't remember it being terrible, but I think there's 1 or 2 trophies that I don't remember it getting to the point where I was not having fun with it anymore. It may have been kind of difficult, but it's a pretty.
Is there
I remember-
platforming weird stuff like Prince of Persia and stuff, or no?
There's one trophy, or there's at least a trophy where you have to collect everything, and one of the things you have to collect is like this one weird area where you have to do some weird trick, and it's like you have to. I can't remember. It could be anything. I'm just talking out of my butt now, but like you have to jump off of this wall and then double jump and then change to a different weapon so you can do some attacks so you get even more. It's like this huge chasm you have to cross or something, and that part was kind of a pain. But like, I think it's a pretty typical Metroidvania platinum. I don't think there's anything like Symphony or Bloodstain where it's like you got to get all these things and so much of it is RNG to craft all these things or to make all this food. I don't think there's anything that annoying. It's like get all the collectibles, uncover the whole map, probably beat some optional bosses. It's that kind of stuff. But yeah, it's definitely doable. I don't know about the second one. It'll probably be pretty similar.
I'm going to see if the trophy... It must be live. But have you been playing anything, Sean?
The only thing... So I played some more Batman VR. It's pretty fun. I like it a lot. Other than that, I got back into Silent Hill 2. When I'm outside, the game's not that scary. Now I'm in what's the equivalent of like a...
Mr. Pyramid's house.
mini Resident Evil Mansion kind of thing, but it's
Okay.
not like so over the top spooky and you need to find the diamond key so you can like, why would that exist? Why would somebody have a mansion like that? This is just like an empty apartment building, but in order to get all around, like there's doors that are locked and you have to find a key, and it's like this key opens the door to the courtyard. It's like very grounded, and it's like, oh, this part collapsed and you can't get through here, or there's a gate there or whatever, so you have to go into this apartment and go out under the fire escape and come back into this room, and it's all done very well, but it's as much as it can in a game like this. It feels real. Like it feels like you're in an apartment building, not in a haunted house kind of thing. But it's terrifying. The enemies don't really scare me.
Okay.
But the idea of the enemies terrifies me. You have a radio, and all it does is it plays static white noise whenever there's an enemy around.
Okay.
But the enemies could be, sometimes they're just like these little bugs that can attack you. I don't think they do much damage. And I think that's just a way of the game being like, we got to keep you on your toes. we don't want you to know every time there's a real enemy. Sometimes it's just a little bug, and maybe all of a sudden you let your guard down, and then no, there's a real enemy.
Then here's the mannequin thing with no head.
Right. But what's annoying, and I get why they do it because otherwise it would be too easy. But like sometimes there's no static, nothing happening, and then you go into a room and it's like, "Rah!" And it comes and gets you. I'm like, why wasn't he's been there the whole time? Just because I didn't know he was there. Or just because I didn't know that he was there shouldn't make my radio not make static. He was there. The radio should be making static. What's going on? So there's some jump scares and stuff, but it's more just like the stat, and it's more than stat. Like I get the whole thing about, I can't remember who it was, but somebody was saying to play it with headphones on. I don't want to do that. It's just this really off-putting sound that I call static, but it's like it's more to it than that. There's also times where there's like weird glitches, and I don't know if it's part of the game or not. I don't know if it's like I'm too close to the wall and like the camera kind of like jitters, or if it's just that's just part of the mental game. Yeah, like there's times where like I don't know, it's just really weird. And then when I took the picture of Pyramid Head, I was like going down this dark hallway, and I just see something glowing red at the end. I'm like, oh, I don't want to go down there. So I did everything else I could do, and I'm like, oh, that's the only other place I can go. So I got down there. I'm like, what is that? I thought it was like a glowing red room in the distance. And then as I got closer, I'm like, oh, that's a lot closer than I realized. It's just like Pyramid Head. You just see the top of his head, which I thought was like a room in the distance. But he doesn't do anything. He's just like staring at you, and he's behind these bars. And I don't know the first thing about Silent Hill. I know about Pyramid Head, but I don't know what his...
Doesn't he have like a giant buster sword or something?
He's got like a giant mallet or axe or something. I don't know. I think he's from the first one. So I don't know if this is just like a wink and a nod to that, or like is he of some significance in the game, or is he just the equivalent of like Mr. X? Like, does he have a story thing, or is he just a big scary enemy that's in the game? I don't know.
Oh, no. I think he's like a final boss kind of a thing.
But like he's at least in this. I haven't seen him other than that, but he's gone now. He disappeared. So I'm like, is he really there? If that was really him, he'd probably be a lot angrier and trying to kill me. So is that just like a figment of my in-game imagination? It's just really trippy. But man, I like it a lot.
What about the story?
It's very... I don't know anything... Well... This is the first one I've ever played. I don't know what the story is about the first one. I think I kind of know. I'm not going to spoil anything because I don't know, but I'm going to give what I think the first one is about. I assume you play as the same guy. Don't even know that for a fact. And it's like something to do with your wife. And you find out she's like dead. Like she's missing, but she was dead all along kind of thing. Again, no spoilers because I don't even know if that's true. But that's kind of how I picture it being. But then that's kind of what's going on here. So I don't know if I'm thinking of two. What I thought about one is actually two, or if it kind of just repeats the same story. But it's like I'm this guy, and I'm going to Silent Hill. I can't even remember how the game starts now. Maybe it's similar to like Resident Evil 7 where I got a letter or I got a... No, I don't think I got anything. I think the whole thing about Silent Hill, it's just like it just draws you to it, and you don't know why or something. But it's just like you're in Silent Hill. There's all these creatures. And you don't really know why you're there, but you're there and you're trying to find your wife. And I don't know if it's like, oh, she's dead, but oh, something tells me she's still alive and she's in this town. That's kind of the gist of it, but I'm very confused.
Is there any like other characters, or are you just alone?
I've met, I think, 2 other actual humans that so far I've just kind of been like, hey, how's it going? And they're like, be careful here. It's a weird town.
It's Silent Hill.
And then you're like, okay, bye. And then that's it. I don't know if they're going to come back. I don't know if they're more important than that, but it's good. It's terrifying, but in a different way. Not to the level of like Resident Evil 7. But it's just, I don't know. Like the enemies are just, like I said, I've basically only seen 2 enemies if you don't count the bugs. There's the first things that kind of look like the molded from 7. They're just like blobs. And now I'm fighting these guys that are like leg monsters.
They're like...
Yeah, it's like legs with like another pair of legs.
And no head, no nothing.
Yeah. They like kick me, but it's their arms. It's just
disgusting.
Really weird.
It's horrible.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm enjoying it a lot. I'm starting to get to the point, I think Stanley Parable was number 97 platinum. So I got to start figuring out what I want number 100 to be. I haven't even looked at the trophy list for this, but this could be one. Delta could be one, but I got to have a
Magnolia.
I got to find a good one. That could be one, yeah. I still need to finish Castlevania. I thought there was another one I was playing recently.
Oh, yeah.
That was like, oh, I had to get that platinum. I can't remember what it would have been. But yeah, I don't know. That's all I've played. I'm liking it a lot. I hope to get the platinum, but I'm also probably going to put it down because I really want to play Ender Magnolia.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
I was listening to Colin. It must have been the last Sacred Symbols. And dude just like casually spoiled, I think it was Colin, just casually spoiled the end of Silent Hill 2. And I was like,
oh, really?
And like the story. Oh, no, he was talking. It was his Sacred Symbols Plus with Jaffe. So maybe he felt fine doing it because it was a Plus episode. But he was like, and then, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, fast forward 15 seconds. So I heard what he said, but I didn't really like take it all in. So I'm hoping that I think I do at some point. I want to borrow this from you, I think.
Yeah.
But I'm just going to wait and just like
let yourself forget about it.
Yeah. Give me a few months. Give me a tie at quime is what I was about to say. A tie at quime. Why do we not have new words? Quime. That could be a quime. You quime something.
To quote something.
Yes. That's it for what we've been playing. Wait, but what is that I hear? Oh my God. Sean, I hear, and it's not an alarm in the night. Is that news I hear? Sean, we finally got news. Randomly on a whatever the 17th was, so Thursday.
Or Friday?
Thursday, I think. Yeah, because Colin was recording Sacred Symbols on Thursday. Yeah, it was Thursday because they talked about 16th? It during the regular episode.
Thursday was the 16th.
Whatever it was that.
Okay, yeah, I think it was Thursday.
Switch 2 is revealed. I didn't realize this until somebody pointed it out. It might have been Chris or Colin or Dustin. I don't remember, one of them. But Switch 2 is revealed. It's finally real. And the trailer, I didn't realize it at the time, and obviously they did this on purpose. The trailer is 2 minutes and 22 seconds.
Yeah.
I really wish that it would have been super minutes and super minute and super seconds. But what are you going to do? Also, I just have here in our rundown a picture of Pam saying they're the same picture. Because I want to get into everything that we know about it so far. But Sean, have you ever had a more anticlimactic reveal of a console?
Well, so I wonder how much of this was the plan all along and how much of it was just like,
I don't think it was.
All right, everybody's spoiled. Here's your stupid Switch 2, whatever. Very underwhelming. The leak was all the leaks about what this was going to be were spot on. And the leak about it getting announced this week, which was last week, with no mention of games, was spot on.
Although you were kind of wrong, but we'll get to that.
I mean, you see one game.
Yeah.
The only thing I can say, they should have called this the Switch 2. TOO. Because it's literally just the Switch 2.
Also.
It's just the Switch.
Or the Switch Plus. But, okay, there's something, of course, we all wanted it to be the Super Nintendo Switch. Because it would have just been such... Again, I went back. If they weren't going to call the Switch, I was hoping, and I know I say this for everything, the Nintendo. But I mean, seriously, just call it the Nintendo. Like, our parents, when we were growing up. No, I know that.
It would be like Sony coming out with the Sony.
Whatever. I'm just saying, there's something about Switch 2. Obviously, like, they couldn't go down the rabbit hole of the Wii U. Super confusing. Didn't say what it actually was. You can actually argue, and I get this probably from their marketing department and everybody. They're like, we can't call it. Yeah, everybody's talking about the Super Switch. But if we call it the Super Switch, people are going to think it really is just another Switch instead of another Switch, but the next one. You know what I mean? So as much as we wanted, I get why they called it the Switch 2. But there's something about, I don't know if it's just like one syllable. Well, but PS1, PS2, there's something about it. And it's like, I hate it. Wii U. Like, Switch makes sense. Wii U, sounds stupid. I mean, Wii made sense. It didn't make sense, but it was the Wii. It just is what it is. But then it's like we couldn't think of anything with the Wii U. Did we ever know why they came up with the U?
No.
But like Switch 2, there's something about the boom, boom. It's just Switch 2, Switch. It's not PS1, PS2, Xbox 360. Xbox, it's better than Series X and all that crap.
Well,
but,
and that's what's weird. And like, it's not fair to hold Nintendo to a higher standard. However, I can't remember if we talked about. We haven't. Oh, I think we talked about it last week because of the leaks, or maybe I never talked about this and I just thought it. And if I did say it, I'm going to say it again.
Gotta love being a turtle.
Yeah, PlayStation 2. They knew what they were doing. They're like, here's the new PlayStation. All right, PlayStation 3, 4, 5, whatever. You know what you're getting. You're getting a PlayStation, but better. Now, on one hand, it's not fair to say it's not okay when Nintendo does it, but it's okay when Sony does it. Nintendo has kind of set the bar high with reinventing themselves. Not reinventing themselves, but doing new stuff. And I feel like it's kind of not a cop-out, but like when you have the Switch 2, you're basically right off the bat saying, here's the Switch, but a little bit better. A little bit belter. But a little bit belter isn't a big deal when it wasn't that good, meaning powerful, to begin with. You're basically saying, remember that last one? Well, here it is again, but now it's more powerful, and it's still less powerful than what the other guys have. So that's why just calling it a Switch 2 that's literally just a slightly more powerful Switch that's still less powerful than what the other guys came out with years ago.
4 years
It just
ago,
seems
5
kind
years
of
ago almost.
cheap. Like, you got to give me something else.
I also wonder if it just does mean that like Nintendo is now the Switch company, and that's it. We're gonna get the Switch 3 and the 4, and that's it.
I don't think so. Because I mean, look back. You had the NES.
Well, that's what I was gonna
And the
say.
Super NES. We get two almost every time. You had the NES, Super NES. NES was huge. Super Nintendo was awesome. I don't know what from a success, from a sales, whatever standpoint, how they compare.
SNES was a lot less, but it was still.
But
like
it's one of my
30, 40
favorite
nights.
systems ever.
I think it's
But
the best. Yeah,
didn't meet the NES.
yeah.
And you had Game Boy, biggest selling, or I mean, at the time, I don't know, is it still? No, I think that's the DS. now.
DS is the most.
But like, then you had the Game Boy Advance. I love the Game Boy Advance. Didn't live up to the Game Boy. Then you had the Wii. And then you had the Wii U. We all know how that went. Then you had the DS. Then you had the 3DS. I think the 3DS is better. I mean, I
do
think
too,
everybody
but
would
it
say it's
didn't-
better.
but it sold like
But it
half as
didn't.
much.
Yeah. And it's like Nintendo doesn't have the best track record of this iteration thing that they kind of do. SNES didn't live up to the NES, even though it's... I think all of these are probably, with the exception of maybe Wii U, are all the better console. It's not like they ever took a step backwards, but they never live up to the hype of the first one. And I feel like this is going to be that same thing again. I'm not saying we have another Wii U on our hands, but at best we've got probably a 3DS on our hands.
The other thing, yeah, I think you're probably right. There's no way it's going to be as successful as the Switch was. It's not possible. Just like the PS5 is not going to sell as much as the PS4 did. The other thing I was thinking is like, wow, this is the first real just like sequel console that Nintendo's ever done. And what I mean by that is, I think way back when we did like a quick hits episode or whatever, when we were doing like the extra Friday videos and stuff around like the Nintendo Revolution. And wasn't something codenamed the Revolution? Is that what the
Wii.
64 was? The Wii was. Okay. So I think we probably did a play on words that I forgot about. But if you think about it, they really did something different with every console. So the NES was first. Okay. Got it. Super Nintendo. 16 bits. I get that. Genesis is already
Basically
out there with
just a
16
more
bits.
powerful console, but new buttons.
Lots of buttons.
Yeah.
We've had triggers ever since. Then they come out with the actual first 64-bit console. Now, did the Jaguar come out first? Yes. Was
With
it 64
three
bits?
handles on the controller for your
And
two hands.
and 20 buttons. The Jaguar was not 64-bit. It was actually 32-bit. They just said it was 64-bit because there was like two 32-bit processors, but they didn't really add up to 64. It was really just 32. So First 64-bit console. Also, the first analog stick. Yeah, it was weird and everything, and they innovated that, I guess. Then they come out with, and I'm talking home consoles. Then they come out with the GameCube. You might say the GameCube, they didn't really change a lot. Well, they've got, apparently, they revolutionized it with the best controller ever made, which I don't understand and I never will. Not only that, but, and the N64 had 4, like it was built for multiplayer. You could plug 4 controllers into a console for the first time.
Yeah.
They kept that with the GameCube, but with the GameCube, they're like, okay, we screwed up going cartridges. We're going to go to discs, but now we're going to do these little mini, whatever they were called. I can't remember what they were called. But not only that,
it comes with a handle.
it's got a freaking handle. Like, I know it sounds stupid, but like, it's got a handle, so you can just pick it up, and it's small, and it was like it was just as powerful as a PS2 and an Xbox, but it was like in a fun cube. It was a game cube. And then obviously the Wii is the biggest revelation ever. And then the Wii U, as much as it sucked, it was they tried to take what they had been doing in the handheld market with the dual screens and bring it to a home console.
The Wii U was a marketing failure.
Yeah.
And the thing looked like it was like Fisher Price.
And it felt like it too.
But it was a pretty cool idea.
Yes.
Like, hats off to Nintendo. Like, that should have sold like crazy. But you sell it, it just looks exactly like a Wii.
You could have called
called
that
the
the
Wii
Switch
U,
because you're switching between these two screens.
But then you've got this whole, it's like a 2-piece console. It was just, I think they were probably ahead of their time.
And then they come out with the Switch, which is the first home/portable console ever. And while it's not the most powerful thing ever, some freaking amazing games. Obviously, it's going to end up selling more probably than anything except the PS2. Or it might even beat that. Who knows? Because I assume it'll finally get a price drop when the 2 comes out. But now it's like, this is the first time that they've ever just, like, even from the NES to the 16S, I almost said. The NES to the Super NES, like I said, it was double the power, which this is not going to be double the power. It was quadruple the buttons, like A and B to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, so triple, whatever. But I'm just saying, like, it really is just the Switch, like you said, 2.
Yeah.
I do hate, though, that...
That's the name of this episode, by the way.
Switch, also.
Switch, 2.
Also. I'm hyped, and I don't know why. I don't know if it's just seeing the stupid thing. I'm like, damn it.
Well, see, what's funny is last week I was saying, I don't care about this, but I can't wait for the reveal because even though I know I'm probably not going to get it, I can't wait to see what it is. And then I'm like, here. And it's just like, what? That's it? And I'm like, they ruined that for me. That was the one thing I was looking forward to about this is the reveal. And they're just like, here, take your stupid Switch
Which I guess is what they're going to do on April 2nd.
Right. I mean,
but it's okay.
But now we already know.
It's already.
We already know what it is, which is the Switch.
The only thing we don't know is what is actually for sure on the inside. We don't know about the dock. We assume it must have AI upscaling stuff. It has to try to compete with the PS5 and the Xbox Series. It has to. But everything else, like I wrote down here, so everything else we already thought we knew. The magnetic Joy-Cons. I don't remember. Does it have a release button on the back?
I don't think they ever showed it, but what I read online a while back before this release was that they do. Like, I don't know if schematics leaked, so it's like you still have to push a button to, like, I don't know, probably withdraw the little things that keep it in place so you can just pop it out. But
so the magnetic Joy-Cons, it does have an extra button, which was in a lot of the leaks. All the leaks have been calling it the C button, which is on the right Joy-Con, like the left
below the
home, because the capture's on the other side. So there's that there. Nobody knows what that's going to do.
But what's weird is it's only on the one.
Yeah.
So it can't have gameplay function. Because you're still going to be able to play games, I assume, like Mario Kart, Mario Party, with just one Joy-Con. Yeah. And so you can't have a button that some people have and other people don't. So it can't be that vital to the overall.
It's got to be either...
You've already got a capture button.
Right.
That's not what this is.
You've got a home button.
Right.
They should have revealed it in November. Yeah, no kidding. It should be on sale right now. Well, not really, but we should have a date by now.
The only thing I can think of is, and not that this would be that big of a deal, but they've already done it with the Wii U, Cast. Maybe you can play it on the big screen while it's not docked or something. Like somehow you've got the screen there, and even though it's not docked, you can still cast like a AirPlay kind of thing to the TV. That's the only thing I can think of. That's the only thing I can think of that C could be.
The only other thing I can think is if it actually turns it into mouse mode or whatever, that it like turns on that optical port or something.
I don't understand.
People are so excited for it because it's like you're going to be able to play mouse and keep. I'm like, no, you're going to have a mouse.
You're going to make. I'm calling it right now. We're going to get Mario Paint 2 at some point.
TOO.
And I don't know what. Nobody's going to play Call of Duty with a little like. Also, if I'm playing that on my cat, am I using the mouse on the cat?
I know.
Like, I don't understand even.
Do you need a mouse pad? Like, yeah.
I don't get it. That seems like a throwaway. Like, yeah, we can put a little optical sensor on there, and that's pretty easy. And look, now we can say it comes with a mouse. But I can't imagine it serves much function in the real world.
But remember, like, the original Switch had the infrared thing that they used for like 1-2 switch or whatever the game, and then it never got used again. Exactly. Yeah. Like. So whatever. But then, so it's got the optical mouse thing. It's got the C button, which we think is the C button. It has nothing on the button now, so obviously they're going to show that April 2nd. It is slightly bigger like we thought. It does have a wider kickstand like we thought. It is just named the Switch 2.
How did that original Switch kickstand make it past the drawing board? That is the word. Like, it doesn't even... You could just, like, touch it and it's like... Why do you this narrow thing way off center?
Why wouldn't you at least put it in the middle?
Worst design. I can't believe that got out.
That is one thing that I don't think I knew about the Switch OLED until Casey got his from Santa.
It's got the full.
Yeah, I'm like, duh.
Yeah.
Where was this the first time? So we don't have a release date. What do you think about the logo?
It's fine. It's Switch 2.
It's just weird. I think it was Gene that brought this up on Punching Up. Gene Park was saying that, like, what he doesn't like is that the logo is just like the dock, and it's just like, here's the Joy-Con logo, and then it's like, 2! And I'm like, the logo does kind of suck. But, like, even the logo had leaked. Mario Paint also will sell billions.
Yes.
Okay. So then we got a reveal, because when I was watching it, I was like, oh, that's Mario Kart 9. But, like, I haven't played Mario Kart 8 so much that I was like, that's definitely not Mario Kart 8. I was just like, I guess it must be.
Yeah.
And it didn't really, like, it was so quick. And I've only really watched the trailer one time. Like, I didn't go back and rewatch it or anything.
What's funny is I watched it, and then I guess I stopped before I got to the end.
Oh.
Because then people in the chat were talking about... Oh, it says like 4-2. Maybe I got to that part, but there's something they were talking about. Oh, about not all games being backwards compatible and
certain games.
There were some things I'm like, where are you guys reading that? Like,
well, but then they did a press release or something.
Well, but it was before that.
Oh, okay.
And I'm like, where are you getting all this information? And then I finally went back. I'm like, oh, I think I stopped the video when it got to like the logo. I'm like, okay. And then no, it continues on for a little bit. So I'm like, oh, that's where all that's coming from. But
so. When it comes to the new Mario Kart game, which God bless Dustin getting that with the 8th round pick, it is weird that none of us took a new 3D Mario.
I don't think we're getting Mario Kart and Mario.
I think we are at some point this year. We might not get it we might not get both at launch, but you got to think even in 2017 we got Breath of the Wild. 5 months later we got Odyssey.
That would have been a good round 8, thinking ahead for next year kind of pick.
Oh, that's true. I didn't even think about it that way. But I was so scarred during our draft that I was like, I had 4 games not come out. I got to pick stuff that I think at least has a good chance to come out.
Yeah.
So apparently the track that they're racing on has not been in another Mario Kart game.
Yeah.
The character designs were different. One of the things I said that people were focusing on Donkey Kong, I guess.
Again, like old school Donkey Kong now.
Yeah, I only watched it one time, but they said he's more cartoony and stuff. He's not the Donkey Kong that we've known.
He's not
for
the
a
Donkey
while.
Kong Country Donkey Kong.
Yeah. So I'm like, okay. Also, people noticed that the number of racers that are on screen, 15. 8 Deluxe only could have 12 on screen at one time. That's cool, but really all I care about is like for? Like what? Like the four of us get together in a room, we're playing Mario Kart. I don't
Yeah.
care about the computer, you know, and I don't care. I'm never going to play it online because I suck at video games. But people also notice that when they like zoom out and you can see the starting grid and everything, there's 24 spots. So people
Yeah.
are like, "Holy crap, we're going to have 24 Mario Kart." I'm like, that's just more people for me to run into. I don't know, but so that's cool.
So what I will say, it still looks like Mario Kart. It
Yeah.
still looks like Mario in the character design. The track looks a lot better. It looks much less. I'm not saying they're going for photorealism, but it looks a lot less cartoony, a lot less just like bright, bold colors. Like, I dig the look of it. I'm sure not every single track will look like that. I'm sure a lot of it will just have the old school, super bright color, whatever. Like, but the track they were on definitely looked a lot better.
Again, because I've only watched this one time. Let me see. Oh yeah, what do you think about the color?
I like it.
I like that.
I like just the little color accents instead of the bright color.
Oh, you know what? I
Pieces.
wasn't even paying attention when I watched this. I didn't realize that when they show the Joy-Con, they were showing the original Joy-Con and then the new Joy-Con. I thought they were showing two different color variants. I'm an idiot. Okay. So here's this. There's these buttons. Click, click, click. Brrrr, pop, pop, pop.
You were also talking about there's two USB-C ports.
Yeah.
There's one on the bottom, one on the top.
Kickstand, much better. I can't believe I got the Joy-Con thing wrong. And you can see there's nothing there, and then it goes... Bloop. And then it's like, this is what we used to be. This is what we are now. And we're bigger. That makes the Joy-Cons look like they're actually a sizable amount bigger. I like the two-tone stuff. I wonder what the... There's something about those R and L buttons. Maybe they're not as recessed as I thought they were. Something just seems weird about them, though. Or maybe it's when the thing goes on it. I know this is really good radio as we're narrating, watching the trailer.
you can
Oh,
put
it's
it
with
down
that. It's with that thing. When they put the thing on, they just seem like they're so recessed that it's weird. But then they just go...
Because you're using it in the mouse
I guess.
format at that point.
So there's that thing. They click in. Okay. Clicks in. There's something about it. I think it just looks better than the original
It looks
Switch.
much more...
It's
not that-
rounded. Something looks better.
Yeah.
Here's this, blah, 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 more Switch.
See, I think I stopped. Oh, no, I saw Mario Kart.
Like that does look really good. Okay, Mario looks the same to me. I didn't even see Donkey Kong. Was he there? I don't know how people pick up on this stuff. Oh,
I think this is where I stopped.
that does look pretty damn smooth. It looks like something out of Cars. Yoshi's got a restaurant, 2025. So I don't know.
I think that's where I stopped.
Yeah.
But then there's more information after that.
It's really good, I guess. So there's Switch 2 trial events that are coming in April. It's going to be across North America, Europe, Australia, and Asia. Like we said already, there's a direct coming April 2nd with more details on the console. More rumors are still saying that there's a direct coming next month that's actually going to show off the games. Once we see the games,
I don't think
I
they're
don't
gonna,
care about
that's,
the hardware.
That's the cart before the horse.
Yes.
I don't think games are coming before the hardware.
Like, I guess you could say they already did the hardware, but no, they just showed a bigger Switch. Like, we
Right.
don't know the guts. We don't know why we need one of these. Back compatibility, again, confirmed, but this time, I think this is the first time that they've confirmed it for the physical games. Like, I think they'd always just said backwards compatibility, but they never said digital only or cartridge.
Yeah.
But then they put out the thing where it's like, the cartridge goes in this one, and it goes in this one, too. So that's...
Okay, so there's two different slots.
No. I'm saying it went in the original Switch, and it goes
okay.
in the Switch also.
So do we think the new cartridges are identical, at least inside? Like, they're not doing a DS,
so.
3DS where
Yeah.
they're totally different. Yeah.
I think so, but who knows? Hideki. Oh yeah, and then just some other fun notes that I found when I was researching. Hideki Kamiya, who did Bayonetta and other games and Platinum games and everything, he doesn't like leakers of consoles because he said leakers, quote, should be covered in shit, end quote. He also said they should be, quote, crushed as soon as possible, end quote. Bro, it's a
I feel
video
like-
game console.
Yeah, I don't know. If it's leaked internally, Hire better people. Have
You
better
gave
security.
the
Something.
design to accessory makers, and I'm guessing
Right.
they're taking for a lot
That's
longer
gonna
than they
get
thought
out.
it was going to be.
Like, tough. Deal with it. Now, I don't support like the GTA stuff where like
Yeah.
they got hacked and stole. Like, that's not okay. But
Wolverine
if something,
and stuff like that. Yeah.
yeah, I don't consider that a leak.
No.
That's theft.
Oh yeah. Also, I forgot to say, Nintendo, when they were talking about backwards compatibility, they're saying they're doing it because it's, quote, it's the best direction for consumers. Yet, no kidding, but that doesn't mean video game companies are going to do the right thing. So I'm at least glad they're doing that. After it was announced, Nintendo shares did hit a 52-week price high, 52-week high after the reveal. Nacon, who's a third-party publisher of video games, and they also make accessories. I didn't know they published games. I thought they only made accessories, but whatever. They said they're expecting the Switch 2 to launch between April and September. Thanks, guys.
Thanks. The cable guy will be here between 8 and 5 p.m.
Yeah. Is there anything we didn't touch on? Any other thoughts, Sean, about the Switch also?
I don't know. Okay, well, no, but you said you were pretty hype, so explain.
It's just there's something about it. I think it's like what we were saying before this actually happened.
Are
It's like,
you going to get it day one? Or you're not there yet?
I'm not there yet in my
You've
mind.
definitely got more of a reason to than I do because you've got all the kids that play. Like,
If my kids hated video games or the kids didn't exist or something, I'm not getting this day one yet. Like the Switch, it was a no doubt. Like Wario alerts, we got to get this thing. I got to play Breath of the Wild.
yeah,
I'm not there, but I think it's just the fact that it's a new toy. It's a new console. I think it's like we were saying, new console reveals are awesome. This one wasn't great because we knew everything already. Even with the Switch 1, when they finally did the trailer and showed it, it's like we had all these rumors and like, are they actually going to do this? Is it really? How are they going to do? Is it going to be an oval? Or how is it going to do handheld and on the TV? Like, it was still new. This really was just that, but again.
right.
We shall see. Sean, next up, last item on the news list, man, Sony. Like, I'm happy about this, but I'm also like, what the hell are they doing over there?
Yeah.
Sony has killed 3 live service games. This comes from Video Games Chronicle across 2 different articles. Bloomberg's Jason Schreier reports that Sony canceled live service games in development at Bend Studio and Bluepoint Games. A report which was confirmed by a Sony spokesperson. While Schreier's article doesn't describe the games in detail, he then took to Blue Sky to confirm that the game Bluepoint was working on was a live service God of War game. Sony spokesperson confirmed that both games had been canceled, quote, following a recent review, end quote, but stressed that neither studio would be closed down as a result of the cancellations. Quote, Bend and Bluepoint are highly accomplished teams who are valued members of the PlayStation Studios family. We are working closely with each studio to determine what are the next projects. Wouldn't you say what the next projects are?
Yeah, that sounds weird.
Also, this just broke today, but an MMO RPG based on Horizon has reportedly also been canceled. According to South Korean site MTN News, publisher NCSoft has canceled projects being worked on at 3 studios, codenamed H, J, and Pantera. I wonder if Pantera's a Den of Thieves game. That could be fun, a heist game. Have you seen Den of Thieves?
No.
It's one of those things that it's like, I think if I watch it, it's going to be like, it's not a great movie, but I'm going to love it.
Maybe, yeah.
Bill Simmons did it on Rewatchables twice. He did a whole live Rewatchables in LA last week, doing it for the second time. Yeah, so I'm like, if Simmons is hyping it up, and I like heist movies, I need to watch it. Although the story doesn't give any further information on the projects, it's been reported for some time that Project H was the code name for the MMO RPG based on Sony's Horizon franchise. Now, according to the report, it seems Project H has ceased development, with developers previously tied to the project leaving NCSoft. It's reported that developers who didn't leave following the cancellation have been moved to different projects across the company. The company signed a strategic global business partnership with Sony Interactive Entertainment in 2023, following reports that Sony and NCSoft had struck a deal to create an MMO RPG based on Sony's franchise. Quote, partnering with NCSoft advances our strategy to expand beyond console and broaden PlayStation's reach to a wider audience than SIE boss Jim Ryan said. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, so I would have liked to see what this was going to be. I think stuff had leaked about this Horizon MMO thing. First off, I knew it was an online. I didn't know it was an MMO, but whatever. I'm pretty sure stuff had leaked about this, like images and stuff, that it was more... It wasn't like Horizon Fortnite looking, but it was more that than the Horizon we know.
Yeah.
Ben was working on a game that we don't know, whatever. Don't even know what it was, so I don't know if I care or not. However, you've got to be fucking kidding me. Try not to swear on here, but you've got to be fucking kidding me. Bluepoint, who turned out the best, I would say, launch game from the PS5, the Demon's Souls remake. Bluepoint, who we have all wanted to remake, remaster, whatever. Bloodborne, which is what everybody wants, or insert old franchise here. Bluepoint, who sent out the tweet all those years ago teasing every freaking video game franchise on the planet, I'm pretty sure, except for God of War. Sony takes this studio, who has also done the Shadow Colossus remake, the Metal Gear Solid collection, the God of War collection, the other God of War collection, and they take them after Demon's Souls comes out. This I'm at least cool with. They have them as a support studio for a couple years working on Ragnarok. I get it. It's got to get across the finish line. But you take them and you put them on a live service God of War game. God of War has already tried. They've wasted Bluepoint's time. Amen.
Yep.
You've already tried multiplayer God of War before with Ascension.
Oh, is that what that was?
No, well, it had a multiplayer mode. People didn't like the game either because it was like, oh my God, we're just doing the same thing over and over again in God of War. He's mad. He's going to kill things.
Yeah.
I tried the multiplayer mode a couple times. I don't like multiplayer games to begin with. I think Ascension gets a bad rap. It's still another old school God of War game. It was well done, but by that time it was like the 7th.
We already
the
had
6th.
several Georges.
We had lots of Georges by then. The whole point of purchasing Bluepoint, I assumed, was and should have been, you have got this company that does what they do better than anyone else does it. Remake old games and make them make sense in a modern day. And you put them on a live service God of War. What are you thinking?
Nothing. I finally realized the Million Miles Away song finally came to my mind. Continue.
Not only that, remember Bluepoint, there was an interview, there was something where they had hinted at that they were actually working on 2 projects. And remember there was something that like we were trying to parse their words for so long. Ah, thank you, John. Perfect timing. What happened to Bluepoint's original IP? I swore that it was brought up after they were purchased. It was. So what they said, though, was, and now it makes sense, unfortunately, they never said that they were... I can't remember
They didn't
exactly.
say it was a new IP, just a new project or a new...
Original
like,
content.
Something, yeah.
For an IP or something. The way they worded it was super weird. Now that this comes out, oh, they meant they were working on a God of War online game. Everybody was hoping like maybe they're making Bloodborne 2. That was never going to happen. But like Bloodborne remake. Like there's so many ways you could have parsed what they were saying. No one wanted it to be a God of War online game. I got cotton mouth right now, Sean. Just go.
It's frustrating because I'm not upset about any of these getting canceled. I'm not going to miss any of these games. Like, at least they're Horizon, God of War, like they're established IPs, so they would have at least been somewhat intriguing. But ultimately, probably nothing I was going to be too interested in. But I'm frustrated because it's like, basically what John just said. We just wasted all that time. They could have been working on something good. Like, on one hand, I'm kind of glad that they're killing these projects selfishly because I didn't care. And if it's something I don't care about, Sony shouldn't make it. I'm kidding. But at the same time, how much money was sunk into it before they canceled it? How much money did they waste? How much time did they waste? Time that, yeah, something... When you don't really have much on the horizon, no pun intended, you're just wasting all these resources. And it's frustrating. Now, if they had said, we were going to make God of War 3 and we decided, not that they would ever do that, and we decided to cancel it. Okay, now I'm going to be upset. Or we were going to make a Bloodborne 2 or whatever it may be. Like, I could have been much more upset than I am because I don't think I would have cared about these games to begin with, but it's frustrating because I feel like Sony can't do anything right anymore.
I feel like we know why Jim Ryan is no longer at PlayStation. I think he effed things up. So, like, yes, he got the PS5 out in COVID, and that was a miracle and all that. Great. How much did he really have to do that? I don't know, but he was the boss then, so he's going to get credit for it. I found the quote. This comes from September 2021 when Bluepoint was purchased officially. And
That was
a year after.
3.5 years ago?
Yeah.
I would have thought that was like a year and a half ago.
I almost thought it was before Demon Souls came out. I couldn't remember when it happened.
No, I knew it was after that, but I would have thought it was like 23.
So they said, this was the quote to IGN. Our next project, we're working on original content right now. We can't talk about what it is, but that's the next step in the evolution for us. Original content. I mean, I guess because there's not a God of War live service game, so I guess it's an original content. But like, now, where do they go? Like, what? I want to know who is the idiot that signed off. If you want to do a God of War game that's online, whatever, fine. Partner with somebody like Sony was doing with NCSoft to make Horizon. Don't have Bluepoint do it. That doesn't. There's no universe where that makes a lick of sense.
Yeah.
I don't know what else to say. I'm just so frustrated. It's not even that, like you said, like we only care, joking that we only care about what they make that we want to make, that we want them to make. I don't know. But like John said, it's wasted time. It's opportunity cost. It's 2 to 3 years of work that's now gone.
Yeah.
Also, I go back to, why did they buy Bungie? Bungie was supposed to help them with all this games as a service bullshit, like their expertise and all that. The only game that's been canceled in this whole era that I feel sad about is Last of Us Online. No matter what I think about the story of 2, The Last of Us Online, and Colin has talked to people that he knows worked on the game. They're like, this was a really special game.
Yeah.
Now it probably it was going to be something like The Division or something. I don't think it was going to be Joel and Ellie and any of that. It was going to be a different part of America, different story and all that. And it wasn't just going to be Fortnite. It was going to be a game with a story that you play online and you can play with others and stuff like that. That's the only one I feel bad about. This pisses me off. This is stupid.
No.
I got nothing else to say. I'm mad. Sean, let's get to the wrap up. Some of this was from last week, but I was just too tired from doing the top 10 list that we didn't do the wrap up. So we got old wrap up, new wrap up. Let's wrap it up. Halo the Master Chief Collection, Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024, Gears of War Ultimate Edition, Hellblade 2, and Age of Mythology are supposedly all coming to PS5 this year. This doesn't even count Forza Horizon 5, which Colin's been saying is basically, from what he's heard, it's been done forever. They just haven't released it yet.
Really?
So I'm like, what are we doing? Also, I don't know. I can't. I just it boggles my mind that it's obviously it's happening, but we're going to be playing Halo. Are you cold? Because
It's freezing.
I can't feel my hands.
My fingers are so cold.
I was like, Sean's got he's got his hand in his armpit. I think he's cold. And then I'm like, oh yeah, my fingers are pretty cold. Let's see if I can just turn the heat up here for. Oh yeah, it's 67 degrees up here. That would be why. Okay.
Why is that? That if you're in a house that's 67 degrees, it's freezing, but if you're outside and it's 67, it's like, oh, this is perfect.
This is amazing. I know. Because we're babies. Xbox also, so they've got their developer direct coming up this week. Reports are saying that they will be revealing, quote, a new entry in a legendary Japanese IP, end quote, at this thing. Because there is a mystery game. They've shown 3 games they're talking about and then 1 mystery thing.
Yeah.
Resident Evil 9 is what I think about.
I don't consider that a Japanese IP, though.
Well, but it's Capcom.
I know, but I don't think that's what they mean. To me, that's not a Japanese IP. That's an
Metal
IP.
Gear 6? No, I'm joking. It's not going to be
I think
that.
it's more likely that it's that than Resident Evil 9.
But we got to be getting close.
Yeah, I just don't think that's talking about Resident Evil 9. But yeah, we got to hear something soon. This can't be the first year without a Resident Evil in a long time. There's got to be something coming this year.
Why this weird? Why did John say the sun? What did I say?
I don't know. We got to delay, John.
The sun. Because we're out in the sun, the sunlight feels warmer.
Yeah, there's that. But even if you're in the shade, like, I don't know. I'm sure it has to do with the sun.
The sun. Sounds like
Shut up about the sun.
It's like Jerry Jones.
Quit talking about the sun.
We don't need curtains because we know where the sun's going to be like a year in advance. Freaking idiot. Team Cherry speaks. There was a tweet from their PR person that said, quote, yes, Hollow Knight Silksong is real, it's progressing, and it will release. That does not give me confidence for my number 1 pick.
At some point,
What the are we doing with this game?
like, I don't want to be like the people online that are like, that was not okay to say. You need to apologize. But they need to show a little humility and be like, I know, guys, we messed up. It's like, they're just like, yep, we're still working on it. It's coming. Don't worry. Like, at
How
some
have you
point,
not
have a
shown
little
anything?
introspection and be like, I know, we're sorry. It shouldn't have taken this long. Bear
We
with
know
it.
you're
Like,
excited. We're trying to make it the best we
yeah,
can.
I would like a little bit more of that tone in some of these.
I don't like your tone. Team Cherry. Another analyst that came out this week. Now they're saying that there's hope that GTA 6 will cost $100. Hope. Now, what they mean by that is,
Hope from other studios.
yes, that they'll be like, okay,
Well,
that
they can do it. We can do it.
that cherry's been popped. Here we go. Witcher 4 is going to be $100.
There's about one game on the horizon
It's that.
that could justify a $100 price tag, and it's GTA 6. If you try to release Mario Kart 9 for $100,
Kiss my
if you
ass.
try to release Metroid Prime for $100, if you try to release Yote for $100, Resident Evil 9 for $100, like
Metal Gear Solid Delta, I'm going to say, come on, man.
right. GTA, as much as I wouldn't like it, they can justify it. But of all companies, they are probably
They
the
don't
ones
need
that
to.
don't need to, because they
Right.
will sell 100 million copies of it. So yeah, let it go for 70. You'll still
They're projected. All the projections I've heard is that in the first week they're anticipating $3 billion in revenue. And now that could be based on a $100 price tag. I don't think so. I'm guessing it's based on 70. 80 wouldn't be egregious.
100 is
But
pretty
going from
crazy.
70
That's a big
to
jump to
100?
do all at once.
Yeah.
Now they did that back in the day. There were some Genesis games that sold for like $80, right? When usually they were like 50, and then occasionally be like, well, here's one for 80. Like they didn't just slowly creep up.
But that's also because
Towards
cartridges were
80.
so expensive. And when you've got Super Street Fighter 2 that's 40 megs, I know, which is hilarious to say, compared to like Streets of Rage 2 is 16 megs, you know, that's how they justified it. Because and parts were cartridges were expensive, memory was expensive. I get it. But like, so you could say there was kind of a reason for that. None of us knew that back then. It was just
But yeah. And to be fair, GTA, at least GTA 5, probably GTA 6, is all like once you buy it, it's like here's a lifetime worth of just additional content. Like they just keep it coming.
I've never bought a shark card in my entire life, and I've put so many hours into GTA Online and gotten so much stuff for free.
Right.
Like, yeah.
I would pay $100 for GTA 6 if I was 100% certain that GTA Online is coming and I won't have to pay $1 more for it. I would pay $100 for it. $100 for GTA 6? No. $100 for GTA 6 and GTA Online?
Let's go.
Yeah, day one. I'm in.
I really don't think there's anything else that, like, Death Stranding 2, I wouldn't pay $100 for. Like, well, I know you wouldn't.
No,
I'm just trying
I
to
don't
think
think
of
many
something for
people
me,
would. Yeah.
but, like, Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 3, I'd be like, this is bullshit.
I'm going to have to because I don't want
I
it
have
spoiled.
to see what happens, but, like...
But I would be very upset about it.
Yeah. I don't think I'm going to be... And I'm not worried about, like, GTA 6 getting spoiled for me. I don't think I'm going to care about the story that much, you know? But, like, yeah. Shuhei did his first interview since leaving PlayStation. And unfortunately, it was with those jackasses that kind of funny. However, we did get some interesting tidbits. He said that he, quote, if he was in charge, he, quote, would have resisted the live service push. No
Good.
shit. That's because Shuhei is smart. He has a theory on why we haven't gotten more Bloodborne. He said, I don't have, none of this is confirmed. Don't quote me. This is not inside info, yada, yada, yada. But he's like, but I think what happened is Miyazaki doesn't want anyone else touching Bloodborne. He wants to do it, but he wants to do it himself. And unfortunately, he's too damn good at his job. So he's been a little busy directing other games for FromSoft.
But also, like, Bluepoint's earned it. They killed it with Demon Souls. I'm not saying let him make Bloodborne 2, but let him remaster it.
Yeah.
Remake it, even. Like,
Yeah.
that's stupid.
Also, Shuhei thinks that the Vita failed for multiple reasons. They would be proprietary memory card. Stupid. So stupid. The back touchpad, he said it was not necessary. Like, it's so dumb. And that's why, like, you can't play... They can't port stupid Uncharted Golden Abyss to PS4 or PS5 because of the back... you gotta go... I guess you could do the front touchpad for that. But then there's other stuff, like you gotta hold it up at the sun to, like...
Stop talking about the sun!
One of the things that devs really asked for on the Vita was a video out option because of how quality it was and everything. And Sony was too cheap. They wanted to save a few bucks, so they took it out. But the biggest reason was that Sony was stretched too thin, basically, because it was at a time where they were getting ready to launch the PS4 and support that. They were still supporting the PS3, and then there was also the Vita, and they didn't have the resources to do it. What are you looking at?
Nothing, just keep going.
Okay. The sun?
Yeah.
Okay. There was a PlayStation tournament over this past week that revealed another Astro speedrun level, and while it has not yet been confirmed, we assume we're getting one more free DLC, and that's awesome. Rebel Wolves, which was the studio created by the Witcher 3 director, has revealed The Blood of Dawnwalker, which is an open world RPG, again, from the guy who directed Witcher 3, so it's probably going to be pretty good. It looks pretty cool. Doom the Dark Ages, this just came out today. The release date may have leaked. It's May 15th. There was an article that went up on something called GameCult.com, and then the article went down. So I think we're going to be playing this in May, which I like.
We may be.
Balatro sold 5 million copies. Last time we got an update, it was at 3.5 million, and that was like December 11th. Now they're up to 5 million.
Good for them.
Assassin's Creed Shadows. I'm sorry, James. It has been delayed again, now to March 20th. I feel like this game is just cursed.
Yeah.
I feel like it's going to review bad, and I don't know if it's going to be good or bad. I just feel like there's something off with this game. Diablo 4 reportedly is getting a port to Switch 2 as early as this year. Resident Evil 6, for some reason, has been ESRB rated for the PS5 and the Xbox Series, which I wrote this down. This was me editorializing, but does that mean they're not going to remake 6? They're just going to remaster it?
If that's the only Resident Evil game we get this year, I'm going to be very upset.
Did you ever play 6? I can't remember.
No.
Like, I don't remember if it plays...
But I'm one of... I think I'm in the minority that... I'm not going to say 5 was as good as 4. It wasn't. But I still liked 5 a lot.
Well, it's because you're racist.
Well, probably. But, like, that's a solid game. There's no part of me that wanted anything to do with 6.
Right. And the thing I wonder about 6, though, is like, because 5, one of the main reasons, other than just getting it playable and stuff. Oh, wait, no, it's on PS4. But one of the reasons I would like to see a remake of that is.
Of what?
5.
5.
Is because it still had the same thing that 4 had, where you can't walk and shoot at the same time.
Yeah, if you give 5 the 4 remake treatment, again, it's not as good as 4, but
Right.
like, holy crap, I would be super excited for that.
So maybe that's what my wonder is. Like, is 6? Can you move and shoot in 6? You know what I mean? If you can, then I'm like, okay, maybe it doesn't need a full remaster. It came out on PS3, so it was in the HD era. You know what I mean? Like, maybe it just needs a.
But so
little
did
touch-up.
5.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, PS Plus extra games were announced for January, and they are God of War Ragnarok, which we've talked a lot about here in the last 10 minutes. Like a Dragon, Gaiden, the Man Who Erased His Name, Atlas Fallen.
That's
Atlas
all.
Fallen.
That's all one game.
Yes.
Like a Dragon Gaiden, the Man Who Erased His Name.
I didn't know Atlas Fallen came out. That was
What is
one
that
of
one?
those where it was one of those that was like in every state of play and Keeley show and everything. It was one of those like Bloodborne-ish kind of games that looks. There was a lot that looked the same. That was one of them. I didn't know it ever came out. Sayonara Wild Hearts, Orcs Must Die 3, and more games. PS Plus Premium for January is getting Indiana Jones and the Staff of Kings and Medieval 2. I've never heard of Indiana Jones and the Staff of Kings.
Me neither.
So whenever you have an Indiana Jones anything, it has to be and the Dial of Destiny, Circle of the Moon. No, what was the bad movie? The fourth movie, Crystal
Skull.
Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's it for episode 375. We were so happy we finally had some news to talk about. It was a good episode. I liked it.
It was a good episode.
A lot. Switch 2 coming soon. But before then, Sean, will be another episode. So, Sean, I screwed that up. I was trying, and it didn't work. Just take us out.
Thank you for playing.